Whale's turn. Hi, sweet babies.
Divine patience was running out.
Hi, Whale.
It was only the beginning.
Hi, baby.
The plains that
Hi,
were once
Mookie.
fertile were now marked
Hi,
by
sweet
big footprints
Mookie.
and devastated fields.
Hi, baby boy. Hi, Runty.
Where once
Hi,
vineyards
Mookie.
and olive trees flourished,
Hi, sweet
stone
Mookie.
cities rose,
Hi, Floppy.
built by the colossal
Hi,
hands
Runty.
of giants.
Hi, sweet babies. Hi to
Benevolent
Floppy.
children
Say hi
of
to
fallen
Grandmama.
angels
There's your
ruled
good
with
little
tyranny.
boy. There's
Their
your good
eyes
little boy, your
glowed
mommy's
like
best
embers.
friend.
Their voices made hearts
Your mommy's
tremble.
best friend.
They were strong,
Your mommy's
beautiful,
best friend.
but filled with pride,
Wow.
violence, and a hunger for
That's
power.
good, sweet babies.
They took for themselves everything they wanted.
Aw,
Men,
hi,
women,
Grandma.
animals,
We're
and
free at
lands.
last.
Wherever they went, they imposed
We are
reverence,
free at
for
last.
no one could resist their strength.
Wow.
Entire peoples began to worship them as deities. They built altars in their honor.
Wow.
They burned sacrifices, sang
That's
praises
good, baby.
to names like
Wow, Mookie.
Alba, Anak, Gilgamesh. The memory of the Creator began to fade from the mouths of men. The
Wow.
Watchers, proud of their lineage, allowed the Nephilim to teach their own codes to the human tribes.
Wow.
War became common. The smaller tribes were enslaved.
Look at those babies.
Violence was celebrated. Brutal
Wow,
tournaments
sweet
among
babies.
giants became festivities.
Say hi to Grandma. Hi, Grandma. Grandma, there's your good babies.
The city walls
I'm a
began to be
Mookie.
erected
Hi,
with
sweetie.
human skulls.
I'm a
And the
Floppy.
skies were saddened.
I'm a Runtaroo somewhere in the
Men,
corner.
corrupted by this new system,
Wow, babies.
began to imitate the giants.
Hi, sweeties.
Cruelty multiplied.
Hi, Floppy. Hi,
By
Floppy.
Tamil, mastered spells.
Look at those
The men
babies.
used bronze weapons
Say hi to your
and black
grandma.
swords forged by Azazel. It
Wow.
was as if the whole world had been
Hi,
enchanted.
sweetie. Hi,
The
Mookie.
signs were
Hi,
everywhere.
Hi,
The sun seemed
Floppy.
weaker.
That's my little
The
man.
seasons
Hi,
became
sweet little
unpredictable.
baby.
The waters
Hi,
of
Runty.
times turned red.
Hi, Runty.
The cattle
Hi,
were getting
Run.
sick.
There's your
The
good
trees
boys.
dried up
There's your little
prematurely.
babies.
Deformed animals
sweet
appeared
babies.
in the forest.
There's good. Hi, Mookie.
Nature itself cried out.
Hi, Runty.
And God saw the earth, and behold, it was corrupt.
Wow.
All flesh had corrupted its way upon the earth.
Good boy. Did you
In
do
the
a
heavens,
pee-pee?
the faithful
Did you do a
angels watched
pee-pee?
in silence. The
Did you do a
throne of the Most
spray?
High shone
Hi,
with justice.
baby.
There
Hi,
was
little
weeping among the
Mookie.
celestials.
Hi,
A judgment was
Mookie.
being prepared.
Hi,
But
baby.
first, there would be a last
There's a
attempt
good
at
little boy.
reconciliation. One
There's a
last
good little
message.
boy.
While the watchers
That's my little
celebrated in
man.
their
Hi,
stone
little Mook.
palaces, and the giants
Hi,
engaged
sweet
in bloody
Papookie.
duels through the mountains,
Baby
a
Papookie
righteous
Jr.
man walked among
Mr.
the scorched
Mookie.
fields,
Well,
saying
Floppy
words
Doppy
to the
Doo.
wind. Enoch,
Well,
the
Floppy.
seventh after Adam, continued
Hi,
his
sweet
journey.
baby.
The crowds
Hi, sweet
avoided
baby.
him. The kings despised him.
Hi, sweet baby
but he
boy.
did not cease to prophesy.
Hi.
One of his visions,
The stars will fall, the
Wow.
heavens will open, and the
Hi,
angels of the
Runtaroo.
Lord will descend.
Hi,
The
Papookie.
giants will be judged, and the angels
Hi,
who
Mr.
rebelled
Baby.
them will be
Hi, Mr.
cast into
Baby.
the eternal abyss.
Floppy. Well.
but didn't the watchers laugh?
Did you do a spray?
They knew there was
Hi,
truth in his
Runty.
words. They feared the
Runty.
Most High. Desperate,
Runty.
they pleaded for Enoch to intercede for them.
Hi, sweet baby
He brought in written
Runty.
words, asking for
You're my little baby
forgiveness.
boy.
They wanted him to
You're my
take
baby boy.
the
Hi,
keys to the
Mookie.
Creator.
Wow, there's a binky.
Enoch, with
That was a
sorrow,
binky.
petitions.
Good,
was
sweet
lifted up again,
babies.
But the judgment had already been sealed.
Wow.
He returned with eyes full of tears and a heavy heart.
Hi,
He
sweet
looked at the
baby.
fallen angels
Hi,
and
sweet
declared,
Mookie.
You will not be granted peace, your children. The
Mook, what you doing, Papookie? Wow, that's a super binky. That was a good binky, Mookie. Papookie.
"Once among the angels, for the first time, the
Poop,
watchers knew fear.
That's so cute. Look at you go, little buddy.
Continued to build
Hi,
ever-taller
Papookie.
towers,
Hi,
believing they could reach the heavens.
Baby.
But wisdom had left them.
Baby boy,
Their
Pookie
bodies
Poog.
grew, but their souls rotted.
Pookie. Well,
They turned against each other.
well,
Fights
well.
among lineages of giants began to rise. Each one wished to be the absolute
That's
lord
good.
of the land.
Wow.
The cities fell. The
Well.
valleys filled with blood.
Look at those
The
sweet
human
boys. I
tribes,
see a Runcheroo
desperate,
booty.
invoked any entity
I see a
that
Runcheroo
promised them
booty.
salvation.
I see a Papuki and a
Deceptive
Fluffy.
spirits wandered among men.
Look at
teaching
those
lies
sweet baby
and
boys.
promoting the
Look at those sweet baby boys.
doom. The world was
Wow.
plunging into irreversible chaos.
Well.
And it was in this scenario
Wow.
that a new character emerged in history.
Look at those
A
shoes.
simple man, not
Well,
of
hi,
giant
sweetie.
stature, without human glory,
That's a good little
but
boy.
with a pure heart.
That's a
and
good
eyes
little boy.
Still turned to the heavens.
That's a good little
His
boy.
name was Noah.
Hi,
They warred among themselves, and the cities crumbled under
Did you
the
still
weight of
zoom, Binky?
perversion. Noah walked with God. He was a righteous man in his generation. His hands worked the land, but his heart remained turned to the sky.
Well.
Amidst the chaos, he cultivated
Wow.
science, justice, and faith.
Well.
Universal corruption had reached such a
Well.
point that even the animals
That's
had
a
been
good little boy.
There were monsters among the hills. The
Wow.
pure lineage of men was about to disappear.
Wow. Good boy.
But God found in Noah the last
Wow.
breath of
Wow.
and called
Wow.
That was
One
good,
night, while
Pookie.
Noah slept under the
Good
shelter
boy,
of a
Pookie,
great
wow.
fig tree. A light descended like fire
Wow.
that does not burn. The glory
That's so
of the Lord
good.
surrounded
Mama's
him,
gonna be so
and he
proud of
heard
y'all.
the voice.
That was good, Mookie.
The end of all flesh has come.
Good
For
babies.
the earth is
Floppy.
full of violence. Behold,
Hi,
I
Floppy.
with the earth. Make for yourself.
That's good. Wow. Doing.
A husband and a wife.
Your
a
mama's
husband
best
and a husband, or a
friends.
wife and a wife. Yes, of course.
What you doing, baby?
Instances of domestic violence are
That's
going to
good.
take place when you're inside of a home. But the sexual
Wow.
revolution, encouraging women to give up
Aw,
their goods
good
for free, which is
boys.
what I'm speaking about, and encouraging men
Yes, you're
not
good
to
boys.
marry these women or to have long-term
My
relationships. What I'm
sweetheart.
saying is a direct contributor
That's
to their
good.
unhappiness because women are giving up their goods for free. And women are now entering the workplace, and that does not
That's a
actually
baby.
make them happy.
Okay, pause. Sorry, you've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
My sweetheart. Good boy, Milky.
What you doing, Floppy? You want some more smoothies?
Hello.
Where's
How are
Ronty?
you? I'm
Good
Candace.
boy.
Nice to meet, nice to
What
meet
you going after, Ronty?
Julian, my pronouns are they, them. It's very interesting to think of it when we just think about the gender binary. It's how do we place value on human beings? in
Good
general?
boy.
And so
Your
when we
mom
think
and best
about,
friends.
placing value that comes from
You
a
get
pow-
that
a place of
sweetheart.
power, right?
I love
So
you,
let's
Milky.
select
Bye,
people
Milky.
on the internet.
Good
You
boy.
have this dominant group of people coming
That's a
from
good
white
boy,
supremacy, deciding who
That's
gets
a
to
good
have,
boy. That's a
power
real good
status
boy,
in
young
the
man.
world. And so that is already like
Sweet baby. Bye, baby.
and devalue themselves.
Well.
Freedom, America, right? America, freedom, and I want to believe in that when it comes to identity. Everyone
Look
should
at
have
those
the freedom
sweet
to decide
babies.
How they want to identify.
Look at
as
those
long as
sweet
they're not
babies.
causing harm, but that's
Wow.
when there's the debate. What is harm? So just again to be clear, to go back to
Good
the point, we
boy.
are debating female happiness.
Look
You
at
are
that
saying you do
Runty.
not identify as a female. I identify with all gender expressions, so from masculinity to femininity. So I'm just saying. Are you just saying that as a part of queer theory, you're debating whether or not women are happier after the sexual revolution? I'm just trying to understand because it seems like you're debating queer theory as opposed to female. I believe
being
all
happy.
genders benefit from the sexual revolution.
You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Look at those babies.
Look at that little Runty.
Hello, I'm Zena. Zena, very much like your name.
Look at that
We'll
sweetheart.
start with the beginning. Do you identify?
You're a very good Runty. Your mommy's best friends. She always told me, she's like, they're my best
You're
friends.
saying that women have been devalued, right?
Those are very good babies.
Revolution.
I
It's like
love
kind
you
of
so much,
presents
sweetheart.
two things. One,
Those are
that
very good
there
babies.
hasn't a lot of work
Wow.
for women. Two
Look at
things
that
women
Floppy.
have
Look at that
as
Runty.
human beings.
Look at
lots
that
of
little
work.
boy.
Women who
Look at that little
tried
boy.
the sexual revolution
You're such a
were
good
worth-
boy.
Worth more than
Well, Floppy.
yes, women have devalued
Look at
themselves
that
by becoming
floppy.
overtly sexual.
Sweet
That's
baby
my
boy.
claim. So, I mean, also according
Good
to
boy.
Justin, and let's not remove this from the other
Good
part,
runty.
which that as it has made women infinitely less
Milky.
happy.
Right. So are you saying that you're
Hi,
a woman?
baby.
You want to get married and have kids, you
Hi,
have to go to
sweetie.
college and have a career.
So
Well.
it sounds to me like we are looking at totally different
Well,
statistics, because
Milky.
everything that you said, I've
Floppy.
actually read the exact opposite.
I'm glad we're on
Okay.
California. In fact,
That's
women
good,
should be
sweetheart.
spending more time with their children.
Hi,
than women
baby.
did in the 1960s that were at home.
Okay, well,
Hi,
women that I
sweetheart.
can tell you women that are at home are obviously
Hi,
spending more time
Floppy
with their children
Doo.
than the people who are at work.
And they're
Hi,
just
Floppy
not saying
Doo.
how, but that's not true.
Okay,
Well.
it is actually true that women who are choosing their
Well.
careers over starting families are finding themselves leaning
Well.
more onto medicines
That's
like
a good
Xanax,
boy.
anxiety
Hi,
inducing and
Floppy.
depression, because
Come
they
here.
suspended that time frame where
Oh,
women
hi,
should be
baby.
looking
Good
for
boy.
partners
Come
and
here.
family, because
Well,
they're
Floppy.
instead pursuing their
You guys are
careers.
so
It has
silly.
been
Well, look at that runty.
totally dishonest
Hi,
narrative
baby.
that men and women want
Bye,
the same
baby.
things out of life. We don't. We absolutely do not want the same things out of life. In fact, we don't even measure
Aw,
success
baby.
the same. Men and women don't even measure success the same.
So,
Okay.
tell me how the women who
Hi,
are
sweetheart. That's a good
why are they
boy.
faring off better in all
Hi,
these-
Milky.
That
Good
I do
sweet
not believe
boy.
that they're faring off better in all of these metrics.
And what,
I
and
do
you're
not.
doing that because
Where'd you go, baby?
because of what?
I am telling you that
That's
we are
a
looking
good
at totally
boy.
opposite statistics. Like, so, what's a
Right.
babysitter who knew how to cook a meal, and that's because
Well,
who
you
knew how
don't
to
need a babysitter. You're already, you can retire right
have to
now.
let people respond to you when they're speaking.
You don't want to.
to
retire.
respond to you. When
No,
I
you
speak.
don't want to. You want to be working, which is great.
You're telling me what I want now, and then accusing me of telling you.
Wait, are you? You don't want to work?
Can you just let me finish? Because you've said so many words that what you're trying to do here, like your argument style, is I'm going to say so much and not let her get a word in, and then walk away and feel like I've won.
Get your word in.
We're not having a conversation because you've not letting me respond to
Go
either
for
one of your points.
Go for it.
Okay. What I am saying to you,
Babies.
first to answer what you just said, which was a lie. What I spoke to you about on the weekends is that it's been increasingly difficult.
Hi,
to find
sweetie.
A 25-year-old
Hi, sweetie.
who knows how to make box macaroni.
Wow.
Right?
Look at that
And
boy
that's crazy.
go.
And that is in large part due to the
Hi.
fact that women don't even focus.
Hi, Mookie.
Women don't even focus. Like there's this
Wow.
idea that women shouldn't be cooking. Like there's something fundamentally wrong with women even learning how to cook.
Are you,
know what I
spending
mean?
as much time with your children as you possibly can? Because that's the way to get the most fulfillment.
No, and that's what I'm trying to say. I am speaking to you
So then
as
stop.
okay. Could you please let somebody get in?
I
a
did.
word
I
edgewise?
let you finish.
You're not.
I
You
did.
actually have not let anybody finish. And like I
absolutely
said,
have.
it's no one benefits when you're just speaking over me and not allowing me to respond. All you're proving
That's
is that you
good.
have an attitude and you
Okay,
believe
can you
in
address the
feminism,
point now?
but you're not. You see, that's what I'm saying. You just have an attitude, and it's not feminist, but also it's not productive if you're not actually.
Okay, address the point. You spend more time saying that I'm not addressing that you don't have a chance to talk. When you the whole time you could have addressed the point. You
Okay.
could have talked.
I
go for it.
just want you to know that you're not coming across as somebody who wants to actually have a conversation. So to
Okay.
get back to the claim, because I don't even know where you're at. You're now talking. You're saying that I said stuff in my
I'll go
podcast.
wherever you want to
that
go.
I never said.
I'll go wherever.
So do you want to start with me working at home? Because I work at home. You just said something about me
You
working at
travel
home.
all around the world.
Okay, I.
Hi,
You
babies.
do speeches, and I love that. I
Hi,
love
sweet
how-
babies.
That's a really great trait.
Hi, Mookie.
You
Hi,
would truly say
Floppy.
You would be more fulfilled. Now, one thing you
Wow.
find is women, they don't want to stay at home.
Hi,
with children.
baby.
They just want flexible working hours and flexible working conditions.
Hi,
like you
Floppy.
have.
Are you
And I
okay,
think we should all
baby?
advocate for that.
Hi,
Not one or the
Floppy.
other, but when you sit here,
Aw,
you go,
good
you'll be more fulfilled.
boy.
Listen, spend all your time doing
Yes.
that. We would
Good
love for you to leave
boy.
that and go focus on what makes you fulfilled.
Okay.
Good boy. Hi, Runty. Hi,
Before we go any
baby.
further, we want to take a moment to say thanks so much
Those
to
are
Straight
good
Air News for
boys.
powering the fact checks in this video.
Look at those
Straight Air
sweet
News is on a
boys.
mission to raise the bar on journalism in a time of media bias and mistrust. Straight Air News helps you quickly find trusted
Good
information
boy.
you need to understand the news, allowing you
Oh,
to dive
sweet
deep into
boy,
the topics
good
that matter to
boy.
you and the world around you. Their work is trying to break the bias bubble.
I
helping
love you,
understand how
Floppy.
every side of the
That's a
political
very
spectrum
good
is reporting
boy.
on a story, so you get a full picture of the news. That's why we're so
Good,
happy to be
sweet
partnering with
boy.
Straight Air.
Wow. Hi,
Is
sweet
run
baby.
by men, and that women are having to
Wow.
exist under a system that immediately disadvantages
Look at
men
those
because men
babies.
are behind it, and I disagree with that point of view.
Hi,
Actually,
Floppy. Good
we're living in a
boy.
society where people are being very much influenced socially and politically by women.
Okay, so the denotative definition of patriarchy is father rule, and where
Good
positions
boy,
of
sweetie.
government
Good
are held
boy.
majorly by men, where women are largely excluded. So
Good
125 House of Representatives are
I love
female.
you.
and that's only about 25%.
Good
And
boy.
only about 28% make up Senate, and 3.3% of Congress up until this date have ever been women. So